All right, welcome to another ProFootballDoc Podcast, a special one, midterms, not talking elections, midterms for the football season. Finished coming out of week 9, no Monday night game yet. We're Monday morning here, but this is the halfway mark because it's now 18-week season with 17 games. So 9 weeks is the midpoint. So we'll do some special things here. We'll do the usual, the rundown, the hiding behind health. We'll end with the beast of the week, but maybe we'll do a little midterm summary of our futures picks that
Absolutely.
we've had, and let's see how we're doing. I have a feeling we're doing well on some, and of course there's some that are not, but overall I think we're going to be okay.
I think we're doing okay.
Yeah. All right, let's get to it. Jacob Taylor's here, Justin's in the background somewhere, and we do have TikTok live rolling here. I don't know what that really means, but hello. All good.
Anyone wants to follow along, sending questions, you can join us there. We'll be experienced with Twitter live eventually too, but for now it's TikTok, so head there.
Right. I don't even have TikTok
Newfangled
on my phone,
technology.
so,
Yeah,
this is
I only know
on the fly.
I only know about TikTok because of my
children.
kids.
Yeah.
I was gonna put the latest one. My 5-year-old did a fun TikTok, but I guess I was told I can't share it because her friend that's in it has her school shirt with a logo on it.
Okay.
So then you could see where she goes to school, and I guess that's a no-no. I don't know how to blur it out. But it was pretty fun. I mean, I'll show it to you guys later.
There's a lot of dances and stuff on there that all of us, I don't think we know how to do that. So.
Not me. The kids have stuff on there. I don't know. All right, what else we got this week? What should we dive into first here? There's actually a fair amount of stuff going on.
I would say it kind of seems like a slow 2 weeks for injuries, but there's always injury questions, injury angles going into next week. I think the biggest story that maybe is not getting the most coverage right now is Josh Allen's elbow at the end of that loss to the Jets, which that in itself is a story. Bills lost a game. No one thought it was possible, but Jets shut him down for a majority of it. And then right at the end on the strip sack, looked like Josh Allen was cocked to throw, and then elbow got bent back at a weird angle.
Well, yeah, we actually have a YouTube video already out on it. And if you go to sicscore.com site, you'll see more on it. But let's go over a little bit for podcast. It's not receiving a lot of attention, as you said, because post-game, I don't want to get the quote wrong, but Josh Allen said...
hurt a little, but he's going to push through it, pretty much.
Yeah, and I'd expect him to say that. But here's the thing. This is throwing elbow. In 2018, as a rookie, he missed 4 games with an ulnar collateral ligament sprain. And Taylor, actually wrote about it, Union Tribune and whatever, and that was significant. Look, this is the Tommy John ligament. This is why there's some concern. Yes, the quarterback throwing motion is a little different than the football throwing motion for a quarterback. Let me give you the case for concern, and then I'll give you the case where he's okay. The case for concern is it's his throwing elbow, and he clearly hurt. He was grabbing at it, and then he was also shaking his hand like there's a little nerve issue going all the way down, and that goes with it, with the stress of the ulnar collateral, the funny bone nerve, the ulnar nerve. A couple years ago, Marcus Mariota had that a little bit.
In my head. Yep, exactly.
That's the reason for concern. And his very next pass, he skipped it to Stephon Diggs.
Yes.
Admittedly, on 4th and 21 or whatever it was.
Well, that was a third down play, and then the 4th and 21 when he scrambled in through the 70-yard deep ball. So.
Yeah, he threw a big, long, deep ball. So he's got some power still, but the question is, what about accuracy and what about overnight swelling? Look, I'm not saying his season is over and he needs Tommy John surgery. I'm not saying that. But I guarantee you there's an MRI coming. They're downplaying this. It's not a guarantee that he's the starter versus the Vikings next week. I mean, the irony is it could be Case Keenum and Stephon Diggs, the Minnesota Miracle duo. Reverse going against the Vikings. This is the biggest injury to watch this week, Josh Allen. Much bigger issue than the loss to the Jets. And the loss to the Jets, I know we had on our board here, Jets plus 11 at home. And that was largely based on no free safety, no strong safety, and then knowing that Tre'Davious White still isn't there. So I mean, it happens, right? And so there's a loss, and the Jets were very healthy on defense, and the defense is kind of what shut them down.
If he was a pitcher, this would be a lot bigger deal, I would assume.
Much bigger deal.
Right.
Here's why. When you pitch off the mound, it adds stress. Now, if you haven't seen the video, go look at it. I can't even get my arm there, but Josh Allen's forearm was parallel to the floor when he got hit, and he got stressed. And that's where it's different a little bit than the way he injured the ulnar collateral ligament in 2018, but it's still stressing the elbow. Ulnar collateral ligament strain and maybe a tricep strain as well. So that's what the worry is right here, right now. I mean, he certainly was torqued pretty well and very vulnerable. He's not looking at his arm. He's trying to make an effort, throw downfield. But why it's less of an issue? If this were a pitcher, I mean, the question would not be how much time. It would be how much time, not if he misses time.
Right.
It would be minimum 15-day IL and maybe 60.
Mm-hmm.
Partly because the extra torque on a pitcher's elbow. And the other thing is, believe it or not, I mean, that 70-yard pass that he unleashed on fourth down, I don't think that was a max effort throw for Josh Allen.
No, it wasn't.
I mean,
I don't think it
he
was.
sort of ran into it like a javelin toss, and I don't think it's max effort. But max effort throws happen much more in baseball for a pitcher than for a football quarterback. I've always said arm strength is a good quality, but if you really need that arm strength to throw into that tight window, that's where you get interceptions.
Yep. Don't lean into it too much. Yeah.
I mean, if you just again and again rely on it, but
Mm-hmm.
there's only a couple or a handful of max effort throws in a given game where you're really firing it into a tight window. So this is different than what Matthew Stafford had in terms of the flexor strain and other things and the elbow injection. It's a big deal to watch. We'll see. Hopefully it's no big deal. I want the Bills to be healthy and keep going forward, but this is a big one to watch going forward on the Bills.
So the Bills play Minnesota in week 10. The other one kind of slipped under the radars. Adam Thielen left the game late with an ankle injury. Looked like they're possibly doing a head check on the sideline too, maybe just to be precautious, but he didn't return to the game. So, and going into the coach speak segment, they really didn't talk about it at all afterwards. I mean, everything, maybe rightly so, was about his 500th career catch, joining Chris Carter and Randy Moss in Vikings history. But I just found it interesting that they didn't even, I mean, they said Cam Dantzler is getting an MRI, but no news on Thielen.
Well, in game, we thought it was a mild eversion sprain, ankle sprain. Look, they didn't say much about Rashawn Gary either, and now today it's an ACL, right? That's kind of the norm to play things close to the vest. But that's one to watch too. But obviously the Josh Allen one is much bigger. But that's one to watch as well. Adam Thielen, and head checks happen all the time, especially post Tua. The buzz downs much more common, etc. And we'll see about that. I guess the other big storyline is Packers injuries, right? I mean,
huge cluster, right?
A lot of cluster injuries there. I mean, Aaron Rodgers and his thumb may have re-aggravated it. That's not that big of a deal. Romeo Doubs, high ankle sprain. That's been confirmed now. We wrote about that Sunday in game. So that's a multi-week issue.
Christian
Watson, second concussion in 2 weeks. He had a concussion last week, returned in 1 week, another concussion. You got to think that's multiple weeks, potentially even a month. That's a big one. David Bakhtiari in and out, and exercise bike knee. I mean, that's a 2-year-old injury. And so that's not going to be a deal.
Never going to be the same, I would say, right?
I don't want to linger. Rashawn Gary now confirmed that he did tear his ACL like we thought in game that we wrote and did video.
And he's their best pass rusher. So they're already they have a couple pieces, but if they lose him, they don't have much of a pass rush this year.
And then Eric Stokes with knee ankle. I mean, the joke yesterday on Twitter was they were running out of boots. They had 3 people on boots and Rashawn Gary on crutches. And we didn't even touch on Aaron Jones yet. Aaron Jones left the game. Jacob, you did a great job. You went back through and looked at every play, every video, and we did not see a significant ankle injury or foot injury. We saw him favoring the left side a little bit here and there. Aaron Jones has now said that our analysis is probably correct. It was more as a precaution than anything broken or strained or sprained or torn. So he's got a shot to play. I guess that's the good news. But the Packers, for the first time all season, the Packers were the healthier side when we compared SIC scores team to team.
Right.
And now they're going to be unhealthy side again.
I did want to add something on Adam Thielen. He had a left ankle sprain last year, and he missed 2 games, and then he re-aggravated it later in December and missed the rest of the season. So he does have a tendency to miss a game after suffering an ankle injury.
I think this was the other side too. So
yeah,
that factors in maybe new ankle injury.
Yeah,
a little longer.
Yeah, potentially, because it's the ligaments aren't stretched there already. But that's another one to watch. Yes.
The other question in that game, Packers against Cowboys, is Ezekiel Elliott. Is he ready to come back after bye? I know we saw bone bruise when I think the initial reporting was MCL sprain.
Well, Dr. Jara says he is, but Dr. Jara also said Dak Prescott isn't going to go on IR and could return after 3 games or something.
Yep. He also chose to pay Ezekiel Elliott over Pollard. So is he ever going to only go with Pollard?
Yeah. I think he more likely misses than plays. I get he finished the game, but this is a bone bruise. A bone bruise is typically 4 weeks, could be 4 weeks. So he's been now with the bye 2, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's a little early for Zeke to return, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
The other one might be similar to Zeke's recovery timeline is Deion Jackson that we saw in the Colts game yesterday. Jonathan Taylor missed the game, so Deion Jackson was the next man up, along with Jordan Wilkins and Philip Lindsay. But Deion Jackson returned for 2 isolated carries. There was one right after the play, and then one in the 4th quarter.
By video in game, we saw that live and said that's a knee hyperextension injury. We're expecting him to not tear his ACL or anything more significant. But the big issue there is indeed the bone bruise. Now, he came back in, he had 1 or 2 carries or something like that, but then left again. And let me tell you, that's not good. That's probably a multi-week deal too. I mean, they haven't announced anything. MRI is coming, I'm sure, and there'll be some overnight swelling, but that's potentially a deal there. And then Jonathan Taylor, we expected not to be ready next week, probably waiting till he's 100% to play. But does he get forced into action? There's no Nyheim Hines.
They traded him. That's a big
traded him.
Yep.
And
no depth there. Philip Lindsay there. They want
well,
to
I guess the question is, who does Jeff Saturday like?
Do we go into that?
He can. I mean, sure. I mean, that's an interesting deal.
You just
right?
did a tweet saying Rivers is just as qualified, right? So.
Oh, I didn't say that. I just said my quote tweet was Adam Schefter was tweeting about his accomplishments, which is, Ring of Honor, consultant to the team, ESPN analyst. And I guess his only coaching experience has been some high school. I don't even remember the name, but it's a high school in Georgia. I mean, he doesn't have any coaching.
I actually have that
experience.
for you. It's our Hebron Christian Academy. He was 6-6, 8-5, and 3-7 in his 3 years. So 17 and 18. So I don't know if that's helpful for the Colts, but that's his max prep record.
I mean, look, there's a lot of things I find interesting about that.
Yeah.
Okay. No head coaching experience, no NFL coaching experience. Certainly
Right.
he played. I mean, my joke was on Twitter. I mean, maybe he should have gotten Phillip Rivers. He's coached high school, and maybe they could have got a player coach. They seem to need a quarterback, a player head coach. That'd be first of all kind. I mean,
Bill Russell type. Yeah.
Done it in basketball and other sports, but never in football like this.
Yeah.
I mean, look, maybe he'll do all right, but my question is, there's a couple observations I would make about that. I thought it very interesting that, unless I got it wrong, that it was Jim Irsay's Twitter that announced the firing, not the Colts thing. I mean, he tweeted
out
firsthand information.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they don't have the press conference for another 5 hours. So
his tweet was the one that opened up the flurry of information.
And which I find interesting. I mean, obviously Jim Irsay is an interesting guy. And then you get a guy who's never coached in the NFL. I mean, there was an uproar about potentially hiring Josh McCown.
I was going to bring that up. Yeah.
But that was for the permanent job, right? This is for interim.
Yeah.
Right.
But how do you think the coaches are going to feel about that?
I would say you've been obviously around the game a lot longer than us, but I can't recall another instance where an interim coach was brought in from outside the organization, not on any part of the coaching tree.
Well, certainly not. And Ryan can look it up, or Taylor's looking it up now. I think it's possible to bring in someone from outside, but
mid-season,
but who's been a head coach.
Yeah,
you could argue he's been a quote consultant. So maybe was he a little bit inside? I don't know what his role was.
Obviously the Colts connection's clear.
I mean,
he's helped as an insider and help on the side, but not enough to be on the roster of coaches, right?
Yeah, but here's the thing that's strange. I mean, I actually don't remember a lot of examples where someone was a pundit and an analyst for a major network and directly hired by the team as a consultant.
Yeah.
Like as a consultant, look, LT's on NFL Network. He's hired by the Chargers as an ambassador,
right?
But he's not in the room where we're telling Brandon Staley what to do. I mean, or the running backs what to do. I don't know what role Saturday had as a consultant.
Right.
That's kind of
interesting. I don't want to say it, but there's rumors like he went to Saturday to help find a person and they just ended up with Saturday himself. I don't know if there's any validity behind that, but I mean, he is the kind of person that Irsay went to for help with decision making.
Yeah, didn't we have a vice president who led a search that then became vice president? I don't know. It happens.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we've had that happen in baseball. I think and then the Red Sox, he came from the Padres, the Red Sox GM, the guy who brought him a championship, like Theo Epstein.
Theo
Epstein was charge of the search committee for a GM, and he became GM.
Just say like, hey, why are we looking for something? I'm good, right?
Exactly. He did very well.
Yeah, he did.
Maybe that'll be the case.
Cubs
with
too. He won with the Cubs.
I mean,
absolutely.
I mean, O-line's what they need to focus on, right? We saw multiple times with the right tackle just whiffing on stuff and just not knowing the right protection. I mean, maybe that was just
you mentioned
isolated
one game,
stuff,
right?
But
on the Thursday game, or the Monday, it was one. You're like, why are they reshuffling a lineup? Did you forget an injury that's going on?
The short week against Broncos.
And like what you see now, I think there's a lot of players that are not playing up to par. Like I was watching highlights of Quentin Nelson this year. He's taken multiple steps back. He got thrown to the side the last game. I don't know. And Jeff Saturday obviously could help offensive lineup issues, right? So maybe there's something there, but I don't know.
I don't know. I think he's got his work cut out for him because, I mean, if he hasn't been in meetings, does he know what scheme they're running? Is he going to tear up the playbook and start over again mid-season?
It's an interesting.
If he doesn't know, I mean, maybe he'll just come in and be the figurehead and let the coaches coach on both sides of the ball, right? I don't know what's going to happen there, but I think it's kind of unprecedented.
Yeah.
Well, this is kind of where it maybe ties into injuries too. Is Matt Ryan fully done? Is Irsay made the declaration that Sam Ehlinger is the quarterback for the near future, or does Jeff Saturday come in and say, let's give Matt Ryan another shot? Maybe we'll have to evaluate the shoulder sprain.
The shoulder AC sprain is going to be better. I mean, it's hiding behind health again. I mean, look at what's happened in Carolina. We've been saying on this podcast for weeks that Baker Mayfield's there and available.
I was just going to say they announced PJ Walker is going to start Thursday.
Yep.
Short week, so maybe Baker doesn't have enough practice time to prep, but he's had 3 weeks of practice.
It took him took him 3 throws this weekend to have more yards than PJ Walker. So,
but Baker's a coaching decision at this point. And Sam Darnold's active. He's a coaching decision.
They're not even hiding anymore, right?
We've been saying for a while. Yeah. Well, they've been doing it the last couple of weeks. Right. So it's coaching decision. We'll be interested to see what happens. I mean, here's the crazy thing. Monday is a big day. Sunday film review, Monday, coaches meetings, whatever, and into Tuesday. He doesn't even land until tonight.
Right.
So they don't even have a head coach in the building. It's chaos inside the building right now.
I bet.
They have no idea what they're going to do. I would assume the OC and DC are just saying, we're just going to keep installing business as usual.
DC was just fired a couple weeks ago. So they're like,
the OC was. They don't even have an OC right now.
Yeah.
That's a really interesting situation. And apparently nobody on the staff has any play calling experience.
Right.
There's a clip going around right now of SportsCenter breaking the news of Jeff Saturday, talking about it on air. And they're like, our colleague, Jeff Saturday, who was actually scheduled to be on this program tomorrow as part of his regular ESPN duties, has now been named the head coach, and they're just taken aback. They don't even know what's going on.
Does
Everybody's
he get cut
kind of
immediately?
scrambling.
Is his contract done?
Now they
He
got to
can't
find a new analyst.
He can't
Yeah.
be both, right? Are they?
He can't
yeah.
be both. That's
No.
why I was
Right.
surprised he was a consultant and
Right.
already an analyst, right? I mean,
Mhm.
I don't think he can be both.
Well, maybe I'm asking you to be a little too clairvoyant here, Doc, but how does this affect Jonathan Taylor's situation with his ankle? Re-aggravated in week 8, missed week 9. Does he come back into the chaos of week 10? Does he say, I'm going to get, maybe I'm not 100% yet. I'm going to sit another week and let the Jeff Saturday stuff figure itself out first?
I don't know. I mean, I was thinking that Jonathan Taylor, because he had the re-aggravation when he returned, isn't going to return until he's 100%.
Right.
But with Nine Himes traded and Deion Jackson, thought maybe there's a possibility he sort of forced back into it. But my guess is right now they haven't even addressed that yet in the room.
There's way too many other issues.
There's too many
not the
other
top
issues going on.
priority,
Yeah, they haven't even addressed that yet.
Yeah.
That's going to be an interesting deal. But that was one of our good things already, knowing what was happening with injuries and different things, that the under in that game was pretty easy, and even Pittman not doing a lot.
Mm-hmm.
What New England always does, takes away the best weapon, because Pittman became the best weapon with no Jonathan Taylor and no Matt Ryan.
Judon had like 4 sacks in that game by himself. I think 3 or 4 or something like that. Looking forward to week 10, we're going to have an article up on the website, SICScore.com, teasing which players could be back after bye. So we won't run through those now, but you can check the website for that tomorrow. Xavier McKinney, the Giants safety that broke his hand on the ATV.
I have some questions about this.
I have a lot of questions.
Far away.
In Cabo on a bye week. I mean, contract-wise, I know they're well within their rights to take away money from him, but they're not going to release him. He's one of the best safeties. How does that conversation go internally?
Depends on the circumstances.
That was my exact question too, so it's okay. We're good.
Well, first of all, look, if you're looking for an excuse to take money away or get rid of a guy, you have it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back to the Fernando Tatis thing, local San Diego thing. I have so many friends says, "Oh, we should cut him. You should fine him. You should not pay him this year."
Cut him. That's
okay,
funny. Sorry.
You're not going to cut him.
Yeah,
but you should fine him. You shouldn't have paid him. For
yes,
well, the
correct.
suspension. I guess technically he's not paid, but he
before,
was a motorcycle accident, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about that. I mean, sometimes it just feels like a wrist sprain and he didn't follow up and the whole deal. You're within your rights to do so, probably. I'm not looking at the contract, but you're in the rights to do so. Excuse me. But if you do, you run the risk of pissing the guy off.
Okay.
And if you piss the guy off, in theory, Fernando has an under market contract. He signed for $340 million.
Right.
Juan Soto turned down $440 million.
And it's going to be more than that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, so in theory, he has an under market contract. So why are you looking to piss him off, and ruffle feathers? So, same thing here. My first question was just strictly medical. There might be more than meets the eye here than just the hand. Like, I'm not saying this is JPP all over again.
Right.
Okay. But you're a safety. You can play in a cast.
Like
even if you're not
picking
off balls, you can knock them down and you can tackle. So why does it seem like seems worse than I would say? Even if you had surgery, you could play in a cast.
He's a strong safety too, correct?
I believe he's free. I was gonna check real quick. Yeah. Does that change to which one it is?
I mean, run stopper versus coverage.
Yeah.
So
either way, you can still tackle.
Yeah.
I mean, are you 100% playing in a cast? No, but so
free safety guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking
Jimmy
that
Ward made it back with a cast.
This isn't like, an isolated metacarpal hand fracture.
Like a broken finger.
Is like a little more, I have to think. Look, people are entitled to go on vacation, right? And he in the whatever there was statement, he said,
I want to go to Cabo, right? Yeah.
So
vacation, it was
guided
a
ATV
guided tour. I mean, to make he wasn't going crazy,
right?
Positioning kind of stuff. But I mean, there's more to this story probably. But
I remember Mariota. Remember when he signed his contract? They didn't want him to surf at all. Like, is there stuff like that? If like I'm like ATV rider, I do it all the time. Like, do you not want me to do that during the season?
I mean,
pick up basketball. I know some people don't. They do pick up basketball sometimes in the contract. Like,
Oh yeah,
you know
but
what I mean? Yeah.
but I knew a lot of Chargers that played pickup basketball.
Yeah.
I mean,
During the season?
during the season, not as much.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the reason why I didn't like their playing pickup basketball is like, to me, who are you playing against?
Right.
If you're playing amongst your peers, you're going to take care of each other.
Right.
You're playing in a rec league type situation where someone's trying to make their reputation.
That's their night,
yeah,
right?
that's-
yeah. Absolutely.
I don't necessarily love that.
Okay.
Yeah. If it's a controlled environment versus just
I mean,
people taking it too serious.
yeah, I mean,
Okay.
that would be the word. But look, the Giants are with the rights to probably do something, but
Okay. But you just stay away, like you said, if you don't want to upset. Yeah, it's better.
I
to do
don't
that.
think they're going to.
Okay.
I
But
mean,
they get the Texans this week, so maybe doesn't hurt them as much. I know they have injuries to Evan Neal and Daniel Bellinger out, obviously, so that they're getting a little more banged up. So definitely did not need a safety to be out a couple weeks.
Because their defense has been pretty good for them, so
Yeah,
you don't want to lose
That's been
anybody.
their strong
on that
suit,
end.
definitely.
Yeah.
yeah, it's always interesting what people focus on. You guys focus on the contract and is he allowed to, and I focus on why is it several weeks with a hand? I mean, put a cast on.
No, and
it,
you're right.
you know?
Now, actually, that's the better one. Now
Yeah.
I'm thinking about. You got me thinking about what kind of.
So what, I don't know what
it's
the
better.
injury is. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe we need to go to analyzing ATV injuries. No. I mean, no, but seriously, I mean, things happen. I mean, look, Myles Garrett, that was a pretty
Yep.
bad car accident.
Once you saw the car photo, you were like crazy that you thought people thought he was going to play that week. You're like, look at the car. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
gonna play.
yeah, like
Yeah, and even then, he admitted he came back a little early
He
on the
did,
shoulder
yep.
sprain, even missing just the 1 week.
Mhm.
That's a big deal.
mm-hmm.
Got one more game to preview, and then we'll get to our midseason futures update. Chargers against Niners, the Sunday night game. Deebo Samuel coming off the bye, had the hamstring week 7, I believe, missed week 8, and then the week 9 bye. Keenan Allen also has a hamstring. Which one's more likely to make it back?
Debo.
I wouldn't bet on Keenan.
Do
this
we
year,
know
right?
at all what's going on with Keenan Allen and his hamstring?
I don't.
It was
Soft
a
tissues are tough,
re-aggravation,
yeah.
and then just waiting
Well,
on, right?
it was a week 1 mild,
Right.
right.
re-aggravated in practice,
A Thursday. Yep.
but he returned to play mostly as a decoy. We thought he wasn't going to return to play so they could take advantage of the bye week.
Right. Week 7, yeah.
Yeah, but he played.
Then Mike Williams got hurt that game.
Mike Williams got hurt that game, had the bye, and so my assumption was he's going to be okay. That's why they played him before the bye, and then he's out again.
Right.
Yeah. Didn't even practice.
And then
Yeah.
there's some interesting words from the coach. I forget exactly how he phrased it, but
It's not
Yeah,
responding.
it's
the
not
way-
responding. It's not
yeah.
a setback, but it's not responding or something, something like that.
Yeah.
So at this point, we're in the unknown category. And look, I think it's possible neither plays, but if you're asking me to say which one, I think it's Debo more than Keenan at this
Right.
point in time.
And maybe Niners not in a rush to bring Debo back because of CMC and the added weapons. And gotta think Elijah Mitchell's getting close too from the MCL sprain.
He said they expecting him to week 10, so that would be
Elijah Mitchell, I think, is close, and part of the reason we look at the tea leaves, that's why they traded Jeff Wilson,
right.
right? I mean, they got CMC, and if Elijah Mitchell's coming back, why do you need Jeff Wilson?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Wilson used to be that third guy, and it used to be okay to be the third guy, but he's asserted himself as at least a 1-2, I'd say. So
yeah, and he actually
Yeah.
got some carries this
he did.
week.
He scored a touchdown. Yeah.
Some receiving work too. All right, midseason futures update.
Mid-season report, midterms.
There you go.
Mid-season.
Midterms.
All right, let's see. You got the list. Go through them one by one. Good and bad. Give them all of them.
All right. So we'll do win totals.
Now,
We'll
this
start,
is
right?
just so
Yeah,
everyone knows. This is what we have done for SIC Picks, and the reason why we can talk about them now,
because you can't get them anymore.
you can't get them,
Yeah.
so it doesn't matter. But it's all documented on everything on the website is free, obviously. But the picks, look, every bit of information that we talk about is free on the website. If you want to do your own homework, it's all 100% there. The only reason for SIC Picks
We're doing the homework.
is some people don't
Yeah.
want to do the homework.
Right.
They just want the answers. Well, this is the Cliff Notes version. And so let's go through some of the.
So this is my favorite type
futures.
of homework. So yeah.
All right.
All
Let's
right. So Giants, we had
Oh,
under
start-
7.5. I know we're starting bad.
start with a bad one. Okay, that's a negative. They're a surprise.
The offensive line we thought
6
was
and
going to be
2,
an
yep.
issue. Yeah.
We thought there would be continuing offensive line issues. and then that would negatively impact Daniel Jones. But at the same time, to be fair, we were all in on Saquon Barkley.
We might as well jump to that then.
All right.
Yeah. Barkley was over 900.5 rush. He has 779 yards this year.
Second in the league. Yeah.
So barring disaster, an injury next week or something, knock on wood. But so we were strong on saying Barkley is going to be fine this year. He's going to return to full form after a down last year.
Second year off ACL, right?
Second year off ACL. But maybe we try to split the baby too much by saying Barkley good, but the rest of the Giants not so good. Maybe we try.
Well, here's a split the baby. We can do even more. I'll just jump around because we're doing the same team. Daniel Jones, we had under 21.5 touchdowns and under 3,450 yards. He has
passing yards. Passing yards and passing touchdowns.
He has 6 touchdowns passing and 1,399 passing yards. So those are
he's
decent.
well behind.
We're splitting the baby decently. We just didn't get the win.
2-1. 2-1 on the Giants.
Yeah.
Well, technically 3-1.
Yeah.
Because Barkley is good. We're ahead on Daniel Jones touchdowns, 21.5, and it's 6.
Yep.
And we're ahead on passing yards.
That's true.
1,300 versus, well, it's not halfway.
I was parlaying that in my head, so that counted as one.
And then, so we're wrong on the Giants win total.
But
So
3-0 in props, we can change
whatever.
it. Sorry,
we're not there yet. We haven't cashed it. We haven't cashed any of them yet.
Oh, Taylor has it in his head. Don't worry.
Midterms.
Yes.
We're doing well midway through. It's not the final yet. So the Giants actually 3-1, but of course the win total is at this point. I mean, the win total we're going to lose at this point in time.
So that's no barring setback. We're too close. Chiefs, it's one of the most healthiest teams due to our 6 scores. They were over 92. 10.5 wins was the total. We have 6 already.
So we're a little more than halfway there. We're on the better side, but that one's not won yet either. No, but
it's a packed division as well.
But I think you like the spot that we're in.
Right.
So it's not a win yet, but we like the spot.
One of our favorite ones that we've been pushing, one of the healthiest team going this season was the Vikings. We gave up a free pick of the division winner, 240, but it was 9.5 win total. They're at 7 already, 7-1, I believe they are.
Yep.
Yeah. So 9.5 win total over. They're at 7. So that's obviously looking good. Nothing's a lock yet, but that's looking good. The plus 240 to win the division is I don't know what the numbers now are, but it's totally different. They're the favorites now, right? It's a minus number now. And paired with that is we were under on Green Bay Packers.
Yes,
10.5.
At 10.5.
Yep.
Right. And they're at
3-6.
3. So
3-6, yeah.
I mean, once again, it's not impossible. They've got 8 games left. Well, yeah, it's pretty close.
Win out. Yeah, they got to win out.
Winning out now. So that was pretty good. I mean,
no, but like you said, those were tied together. We picked the division because the books thought the Packers were going to be the division favorite, which they were listed. Yeah.
And the Packers one was purely based on left tackle Bakhtiari not going to be there, and Elton Jenkins right tackle not going to be 100%.
And he's actually been playing okay.
He's coming on because now second half of the season he's been coming on, but Bakhtiari still hasn't.
Yep. Right.
And that paired with the lack of experienced wide receivers, the lack of protection, I think has done Aaron Rodgers and company in. I'm still surprised they're just not a run first team. Yeah. They proved against Buffalo that they could run the ball in the second half, and they chipped into that lead.
Then they had the goal line, 2 runs out of shotgun, and then a trick pass to Bakhtiari. That's
for a
interesting
pick.
Call. Yeah.
2 red zone picks first in his career. That's
just
run the ball. It's not even that hard. That's why Twitter is harping on them so much. And I think now the fan base is starting. You could see that everybody around the team might start get a little frustrated because it seems so easy. There's times where you see Jones only have 9 carries and 60 yards. And you're like, why aren't you continually doing that?
The other thing is that the Packers are one of those teams that are basically all shotgun now, right?
Yeah.
And let me tell you, it's hard to run the ball in goal line or short yardage situations out of shotgun.
Absolutely.
Right. And so maybe that has something to do with it. We saw that with the Chiefs last night too.
Right.
Short yardage or goal line situation on a shotgun, difficult to run the ball.
Well, what's your theory? When you start running the ball like that, you're already 3 yards out behind, right? So why don't do that?
You get easier to get penetration,
exactly.
Right?
Yep.
Kind of thing. If you are going to run it like that, maybe you should just go what Tennessee did, Wildcat,
right?
And that way, at least move the quarterback out and get one man out of the box and play the numbers game. But when you have a quarterback in there and he's just window dressing, the numbers favor the defense there, especially if you're so far back like that, kind of thing. But we're getting off the topic here. Green Bay, I didn't do the math there. They got to win out.
Yeah.
We're looking pretty good there. and the Vikings are looking pretty good in the division. So that one, I think, once again, completely based on injuries going into the season.
Our last win total we put is the Ravens under 10.5. They've for multiple years we have looking back end stats. They outperformed their 6 score a lot more than not. So 5 wins this year. It's 10.5 on the total.
They're 5-3 with another game to
play
come.
tonight. Yeah,
play tonight
with the bye coming up. Yep.
So we're kind of right at it, right? 10.5. They're at 5. They play tonight. They're kind of right at it. They are the less healthy team tonight. I mean, the Saints are the
10.6 score advantage for the Saints.
Yeah, the Saints are the by health the favorite side tonight.
The Ravens have been the most unhealthy team all year. So
the only thing that they did quote get healthier by acquiring Roquan Smith,
and linebacker's been an issue for them.
Yeah,
and JPP was
JPP a big good acquisition. So you got to give the Ravens credit that they've been one of the more injured teams, and yet they're holding it together. We've been doing well going against them on the spread
because they're winning but not covering the spread.
Yeah, they're winning but not covering.
Just lost Bateman too, Mark Andrews and Gus Edwards inactive for tonight. So
we know J.K. Dobbins,
and
that was one of our favorite props, right?
Remember we can lead in that 875. He has 123 yards this year.
875 J.K. Dobbins and 123 so far and on IR with the knee scope again. Once again, it was a worse injury, ACL, LCL, multi-ligament.
We weren't going against him like when he was frustrated during the offseason. He thought everybody was going against him. That wasn't the case. We knew what he had.
I'm saying he had a really bad injury, and his injury was worse. His recovery timeline was way faster than Gus Edwards, yet his injury was way worse than Gus Edwards.
And then you see Edwards, he's got the hamstring now. So,
injuries beget injuries. Do we remember Saquon Barkley his first year back, right? And now second year, he's
ankle,
good.
875 isn't a lock for a healthy running back, especially in an offense with Lamar Jackson. So,
well, at this point, I mean, the under 875 is probably as good as the Packers under 10.5. I mean,
just for context,
would be a massive bad beat to not get that.
For context, just to jump to another, I know it's CMC's prop was the exact same number, 875.
Yep.
So that's how much the books they didn't understand the Dobbins injury, which is useful going in the future and getting these SIC picks. There's a lot of injuries that are not in these props at all. Props is probably one of the bigger markets coming up, but I don't think the books have yet to put the injury angles in there, and that's what.
Good. Let's keep it that way.
Yeah.
Let's keep it that way.
Robert Woods, I don't know if you were going to mention, that's the other lock of the season coming off the ACL tear. It's 775 receiving yards. We had the under. He's at 256.
Yep. So he was at 256 going into the game yesterday, and he's still at 256. Yeah, that Malik thing doesn't help him either. What I didn't understand about that, this is what I didn't understand the most about that. Robert Woods, he's done a very nice job recovering from the ACL.
He's a good blocking receiver, which helps Henry.
And you can argue, okay, they brought in Robert Woods from the Rams. Okay, they got rid of AJ Brown. Robert Woods is not a replacement for AJ Brown.
Right. Traylon Burks was supposed to be a little, but he has the turf toe. Yeah.
But here's my question: the man's coming off a late season ACL
in practice. Yep.
He doesn't look right at wide receiver. Why is he returning punts?
I was going to ask you.
I mean, you don't have someone more dynamic than that returning punts, or you're just trying to fair catch him. I mean, I don't understand how he's the punt returner. Like, I love Mike Vrabel. I think he's a great coach.
He's an awesome coach.
I think he's a great person. Yeah. I mean, not because he gave me a shirt one time. Whatever.
On top of that,
no, I mean, he did at a Pro Bowl. Whatever. I mean, he's just a nice guy, and I think he gets it. Right. I think he's a very smart guy, smart coach. He gets it.
Can I mention
so
something?
I can't be more complimentary of Coach Vrabel and the things that he does. Like, I think it was brilliant if you're going to go Wildcat to move out Malik Willis and then clear someone out of the box on goal line, and get the numbers to your favor.
So Vrabel's credit, he's punt returning because Amani Hooker missed the game due to a shoulder injury. He's the guy. Traylon Burks is the second guy, IR, and the third guy is Kyle Phillips, also an IR. So Woods is the only guy that can do it. Or they probably should do someone else, but I mean, they don't have anybody.
Can't train someone else.
That's what I'm
saying. But I get that. You're 4 deep and the other 3 are gone, and so now it's Robert Woods. So that's actually a good explanation. They just didn't have
Yeah.
time to make the change, and they probably prefer the ball security.
Just want
Yeah.
someone you
You
trust
know,
and fair
I
catch
mean,
it. Yeah.
I mean, there are times I've seen the game plan where it's like, we're not trying to get punt return yards. We just don't want to, catch it when you're supposed to catch it,
And that's it. Just be safe.
don't get
with it.
pinned back and don't mess up a fair catch, and just ball security. And that may be why. I mean, just say, look, it's field position ball security. We're not looking for anything dynamic. But that answers the question. See, Coach
Yeah.
Vrabel's good. He knows
Yes.
what he's doing.
Going from a good pick to a bad pick, I guess. Matt Stafford, we had over 43,000 yards pass. He has 1,928. That's the elbow. We thought the elbow was going to be okay.
Yeah,
Didn't think the O-line would be such a huge
That's
issue.
the
Yeah.
issue. Yeah, we didn't. Yeah,
That's a bad one
Yeah.
right now, right? Because the O-line issues up the middle. And I think but those O-line issues weren't there when we picked it.
That's correct.
And
that's the problem with futures, right? You can't predict what's going to happen in a season. So
And I think that pick for us was based on all the talk about his elbow. We
The
thought
media,
it was a
yep.
depressed line,
mhm.
and we thought his elbow would be fine. And so that's what that was about. But here's the thing I'm realizing on Matthew Stafford, and we've been harping on this. Up the middle pressure is not good for him
Mhm.
because he's not mobile.
and they're on the
And-
third string center right now. Yeah,
Although Brian
Yeah,
Allen's got it
but they
back,
were. Yeah,
but they were on a third string left guard and
Mhm.
second string right
Left
guard.
tackle's
Now
gone.
Now the
Boone's
left
out,
tackle's
yeah.
out. Yeah. I mean, that's the O-line issue. So that's bad, but that happens. Look,
like Cooper Kupp's having a good year. He just can't spread the ball around and be effective. So that's like you said.
yeah, so that one's not good right now.
Elliott is at Ezekiel Elliott. He had the PCL injury all year last year. That's why we thought his number is a little depressed. It was 800.5. He is injured now, but he has 443 yards. Like, I think that once he comes back, he could slide into that 800 because it was such a low number.
Yeah, I think that we took that because it was a low number. We
Right.
thought his PCL would be fine, and we didn't think his career was done.
Right.
Now he's got the little bone bruise. The question is, how much time will he miss?
He was
But-
affected before. Yeah.
But he's a little bit ahead of that number right
Yeah.
now. So, I mean, that one, let me ask you this question. If you could get that number now, would you take it?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
then
would.
we're okay.
That's why I'm okay with it. Yeah, because I
Then
see
we're
that, like I
okay.
said, him once he comes back, I see him slipping to that. Like,
Seems a couple 100-yard games,
I know
80, 95. Yeah.
Pollard is definitely the more effective, burst runner. But like for pure volume, you give Elliott 20, he looks like he can get 80 to 90. A decent game for
And
you. So.
he has the most important vote of confidence that he needs.
Yeah. From doctor/owner. Yeah, Jerry
From
Jones.
Jarrett.
Yeah. There you go.
There you go. I mean, Jarrett's paying him. He's going to call the shots there.
We have
so
a-
that's not bad.
We have a double one, so this might not be us. This is just a team didn't understand, like they don't know what they're doing. Is the Broncos? Like all the numbers said they were going to be good. We have Judy at over 900.5 receiving and 69.5 receptions. He's got 449 yards and 30 receptions. It's kind of close. Sutton, we had over 5.5 touchdowns. He has 1. So I want to blame. I don't want to blame us. So
They
I'm
got,
trying to
they
figure
got the
out.
bye week to figure it out. They can pick it up. Don't give up on it yet.
I don't want to, but
That play was purely based on Sutton, second
Yeah.
year ACL.
Right.
Thought he would be productive. He's obviously, the issues are well documented. Although Frank Reich being the second coach fired, some people lost money on that, right?
Yeah.
I
We've been
thought
promoting
would be-
Hackett. Yeah.
Hackett would be the next one gone.
Yeah.
They
He was
won.
close,
They won
yeah.
in London. Maybe
Yep.
they're going to turn it around. I mean, I don't know. I mean, yeah, we're on the negative side of those two right now. But here's my pet thing here. The game of football is hard. It's just not that easy to plug and play and do stuff. It's very complicated. You can be the most talented player in the world, but you're just one guy and you need to mesh with the team. Look, if you're a great shooter, you'll score in basketball. If you're very athletic, you'll get some points because it's sure there's plays and there's some structure, but sometimes it just comes down to athleticism.
Right.
In football, it comes down to athleticism, but it's teamwork and right spot, right thing. I think it's a tremendous mistake when they didn't play Russell and all the people in the preseason. So you have a new coach, new system, new players, and you're not getting some preseason snaps
At least a quarter or something.
just to
yeah.
kind of work out the kinks a little bit,
Yeah.
and then to work them out on the fly. Look, Russell Wilson in Seattle would not need to play in the preseason. I get that. But when you're new, I mean, look, Tom Brady during the pandemic, when he joined the Bucks, you could argue pseudo broke the rules
He was
by
breaking
getting
people's houses.
to
Yeah.
Well, I mean, whatever.
No, he was
But
like you said.
They were in the park with people and
He's
organizing
itching,
things,
yes.
and
Itching to do it.
right, just to.
He understood. He's new. He needed to learn that system to figure it out in Tampa Bay.
And other people needed to learn him, and
Right.
he needed to learn other people, right?
Yep.
I mean, so anyways, so we'll see what happens there. We're on the downside of that one.
I got two more. Kittle, over 800.5. I do want to say on this one, he picked up that soft tissue injury 2 days before we placed this. So after we placed this. So
Why didn't you wait 2 days? No,
I
just
know,
kidding.
I know.
no, but Kittle still has a chance, right?
319. Yeah, he's not like only 100. Yeah, he's
And part of that was, I mean, Trey Lance, right? I mean,
didn't look like he was feeding the tight end. Jimmy obviously does, and that's why this
Yeah.
number has popped up the last couple weeks as well.
I think Kittle still has a chance to hit it. I mean, we're a little behind the numbers on that one right now, but that's not bad.
Not horrible. And then the final one is Joe Burrow. We, second year off the ACL. We were big on him. I know he had a great year last year. The number is over 4,375.5. He has 2,535 at the moment.
So he's well over halfway there.
Yeah.
Third in the league in passing. So yeah.
And there were a couple that never even showed up that we would have loved.
Michael
Thomas.
I've been meaning to bring it up.
Yeah,
With the
under
second toe dislocation. What does that mean career wise? I mean,
the second toe should mean nothing career wise.
Mm-hmm.
It's very unusual to have second toe surgery. I'm not sure what the situation is. I guess the whole thing's been unusual. And by unusual, I'm not saying the Saints are bad or the Saints medical staff is bad or that Michael Thomas is bad. I'm just saying, I've always said, if from the outside things don't make sense, then we just don't know the whole story.
Right.
It didn't make sense when he had that high ankle sprain and then had the delayed surgery. And I don't know that the jury's out on why that was the delayed surgery. And that delayed surgery cost him last season
Lingered
and whatever. And then he still didn't look right coming into this season. And we said, look, injuries beget injuries. We're not sure he looks right. He actually made a good acceleration to return to
What
play.
did you say going into the season that has been totally right? Who's going to be the third receiver on that team, right?
At the time, people thought I was whatever.
They thought you were crazy, yeah.
And I said, Michael Thomas is more likely to be the number 3 receiver on the Saints than return to 1,700-yard form, which is what he was in his last year.
His all-star form, yep.
His all-star. So what I said was he's more likely to be the third receiver on his team than the number 3 receiver in the league or a top 3 receiver in the league. And he was clearly a top 3, if not top 1 receiver in the league when he got, 2019 when he had 1,700 yards.
He broke the receiving record. Yep.
So that was my statement. More likely the third receiver on the Saints than in the top 3 in the NFL. And he obviously with his injury and other things is going to be done for the season. And he might even be the number 4 receiver, number 5 receiver by the time he's done. People pass him up. But here's the thing, the toe injury itself should not end his career. It's unusual to need second toe surgery. Mm-hmm. It's unusual for a player to not go on IR, miss the time, and then have surgery. It doesn't mean anyone did anything wrong. I just don't know the whole story.
Right.
It's a second unusual situation involving Michael Thomas and the Saints. No blame. I'm just saying it's unusual. It should not, in and of itself, the toe injury affect his career. Okay. Second toe injury.
Excuse me.
However, can you cite any examples of someone who's basically been out of the league for 3 years that comes back and kills it?
It's hard.
Can you cite any? I mean, it's not quite completely out of the league for 3 years. I mean, last year he was completely out.
Right.
This year he played some. The year before he played some before he was hurt. So it's not like completely 3-year hiatus, but let's call it a 2-year hiatus in the last 3 years. How many players return to their old form after 2 years? This is technically 2, 3, however you want to count. That's the bigger concern from him.
I think of Julio a little bit, but it wasn't like the whole, it was like he probably played like 4 or 5 games in like a 2-year span. Remember when he came back to the Titans last year and played like 2 games and he had the injury. So it's coming back to the Tampa Bay, it's been almost like a whole year, but it's not 3 years. That's a different way to do it.
And what's Julio doing?
Exactly. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to find a 3-year. That's hard. Year 3 year, but I mean, that's this 1 year. It shows.
Forget anything else. When Michael Thomas was healthy, 2019, who were the top receivers in the league? Michael Thomas was one of them. Who else was like, oh my God, this guy's a beast? Julio Jones fell off a cliff.
AJ Green
fell off a cliff.
Sammy Watkins.
Fell off a cliff.
Maybe you can include him. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
and
There's
yes, Julio's had this injury, that injury. Sammy is this, that. I get that, but father time and other things, and I mean, I'm not worried about the second toe in and of itself, but this just
coming
pattern
back to
does not look good or bode well for Michael Thomas being a 1,700-yard receiver, much less a 1,000-yard receiver. He's also had a different quarterback now and the whole thing, and I get all that.
Right.
Tough.
Well, not exactly 3 years, but a lot of OBJ rumors heating up. I know we've alluded to it and talked in the office about it, but let's just get it on record. What are his realistic chances of playing late this season?
You want me to text him and ask him?
Yeah, right. So Underdog Fantasy has him as a number 2 pickup to pick up for fantasy this year.
People are thinking he's going to play in fantasy playoffs, which is week 15 through 17 most leagues.
Well, remember what Jay Glazer said? He said he has the opportunity to be cleared medically this week. So that's why all the.
What does that mean specifically?
The jaded side of me says the agent told Jay Glazer that to whip up the marketplace.
Trade deadline's over, so
trade deadline's over. So he's the number 1 wide receiver acquisition.
He's the best guy you can get open right now,
unless you're saying Cole Beasley or something,
you're
right?
Not, but you're not. Though.
No, I'm just saying. Who else can you get?
Yeah,
I mean, who else can you get?
Will Fuller. That's a good option.
Okay, Will Fuller, but okay, Will Fuller. Okay,
that's another 2-year kind of thing too. Remember he didn't play for a whole year, then he had a little finger fracture. I'm saying little because you didn't think much of it, and I haven't seen him since that injury. So
that's why the Odell Beckham chatter is there. But he's not ready today. Can he be cleared to pass a physical? I mean, look, Tre'Davious White is on the roster and passed the physical.
Healthy scratch.
But
well, not healthy
ready,
scratch, but inactive, yeah.
Well, technically healthy scratch, but I mean, I don't think he's 100% healthy.
Right.
But could he do that? Yes. Is he cleared? I mean, this is different ways that you
So he would take a roster spot if you sign him and keep him inactive every week?
Well, here's the interesting thing.
Yeah.
You could sign him to the practice
squad.
That's
what I'm thinking. That's what I was, I didn't.
So that's possible that happens. Someone says, I'm going to sign him to the practice squad. But then the risk in the practice squad, though, is you can get poached.
Someone can poach him. Yep. Yeah.
But my guess is there are potentially some, and I'm not a GM or a contracts guy, there are some ways that you might be able to sign him to a contract with some poison pills. So because, or something, I don't know. I'm just speculating there.
Yeah. Does he want to go in practice squad? Is that like a thing like, Machado, I don't want to go on DL because that looks like, I don't know, weak to people.
He's going to need some ramp up time.
Yeah.
And I was joking about texting him. I would never do that to him. And he wouldn't tell me, but he's been honest on Twitter and like last year, I wasn't ready. You
defended because people were kind of like, eating him about it last year.
Yeah. He's not ready yet.
Yeah.
Can he be ready for fantasy playoffs? The state of my current fantasy team, I might pick him up just as a flyer, right? I mean, look, there's a few players I could drop to pick him up if he
we almost
available.
blew all of our budget on Sam Ellinger on your team, remember?
Because he had no quarterbacks anymore.
Yep.
And although I'm still above the Mendoza line, I'm still at playoff level.
You're doing okay.
I'm not. This is the one thing.
All you got to ask.
Fish. Well, I'm not winning the league. The 2-year run is done.
It got hard this year.
Well, I went 0 running backs.
Yep.
And finished first in the league. Got knocked out in the second round of the playoffs. Then I went 0 wide receivers by luck. It wasn't a plan.
Yep.
And this year, based on my position, I kind of almost went 0 quarterbacks.
Yeah. We went Russell Wilson and then nothing else, and that's kind of been a 0.
And Russell Wilson's been not good. So that's who we were left with. I mean,
that's why we did Cooper Kupp first. Remember, we kind of we were playing.
We took Cooper Kupp first. Everyone else quarterback. But then we got to that level where all the good ones were gone.
The run, yep.
So we took Cooper Kupp. Then on the turn, said, we got to get somebody. Russell's going to be gone in a second. So we got Russell.
I've been winning with Justin Fields and Davis Mills the last couple of weeks, so it's been ugly. But this week was nice. But I know your son has the same name.
My son met Davis Mills on Thursday. Yeah. Nice guy. No, Davis Mills doesn't listen to the podcast, so it's okay.
He might.
Now, right now.
Going there, my son was like, I want to get a Davis Mills jersey. I'm like, no.
That's why you're asking if he's listened to it. I was wondering why.
And I was like, look, I respect all athletes, but it's like, buddy, you got a Justin Herbert jersey. You
got Mahomes.
Mahomes.
Yeah. You're adding
You got
Davis
a
Mills to
signed
the closet.
Mahomes ball. You got,
It's that picture,
Phillip,
right? What doesn't look? What
Phillip,
doesn't go here?
this, that, the other. You got all this good stuff, and the Houston Davis. But he's like, but Dad, his name, Davis Mills. I said, yeah, but if it were Davis on the back of the jersey, I'd get it for you.
Better off
it's
buying Jordan
Mills.
Davis.
It's Mills. Come on. I mean, he goes, but it's Davis Mills. And then, of course, he met him.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, I'm done. Okay, just buy the jersey. Okay.
Yeah, you're.
They didn't have any.
No U sizes.
They had men's, and the smallest size was a large, was a huge dress on him.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a good dad. I said, there's no youth or kids. There's nothing, Davis Mills. How about, do you want a women's jersey? A women's small would probably fit you.
Such a sly move, by the way. I like this move.
He would not even try it on.
Yeah.
I was like, I get the taper's different. I get what I mean. He's 10.
It wasn't like pink or anything. Like usually,
no, it was just a regular.
Yeah, just a.
But it was in the women's section. He's like, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. I was like, okay. So that saved me about $150.
Because you got like the $100 hat though.
It wasn't $150.
Yeah,
it's $55.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was that big of a difference between the flat brim and the curved brim and the
this
snap
one's
back.
45.
That's
The one you saw my dad had on Sunday was like 15. So there's a big difference between.
I did not know. I just thought it was pandemic inflation. I was like, $55 for this hat.
Yeah.
All right, I guess it's cheaper than the jersey, and it's a cool hat. I mean, the son has swag. He's got style more than me. That's for sure.
He's geared up for sure.
But I was just happy that, no offense, Mr. Mills, that just because he's in San Diego, right? It just would be a disconnect.
He did help us out. He did not get 209 passing yards on the SIC Picks, so I respect him. Helps me
because he helped you.
Helped me look good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, we'll get to the beast of the week. Just want to mention we also got NBA coverage. I know we're full force football, but any big names that pop in the NBA, we'll have analysis on James Harden, Pascal Siakam,
Cam Johnson, torn
meniscus. So yeah, you can check out the Pro Basketball Doc tab, also with John Heffron plugging in for some of those articles as well. So that's on the website, SICScore.com.
Former longtime Bulls doctor,
right?
Part of the Last Dance, Michael Jordan series.
My middle name is Jordan, so after Michael Jordan.
Tipped us off to Lonzo too.
It was. I never told you that, huh? Never told you that.
Well, I thought you were Philadelphia.
No, my dad is a huge Bulls fan, like massive.
So he's a front runner.
He is a front runner. Yeah. He only liked him for the shoes. He wasn't a Bulls fan. He had every Jordan pair though. So did I when I was a baby.
But here's the thing: you guys don't realize this. Okay, like you guys always accuse me of being old, and there's no question. I make references, and you're like, "What are you talking?"
I do it all the time. I apologize.
I know the references get old, and the new references I don't know. Like honestly, half the Halloween costumes this year. Oh, that's this guy from. I'm like, what is that?
Like what show? Yeah.
What I didn't know.
The Stranger Things. Yeah.
Stranger Things. I don't know. Whatever. Do you realize the little kids like my son Davis think of Jordan as a clothing brand, cool jump man? They don't think of him as the GOAT basketball player. They think of him as a really cool clothing brand, the Little Jump Man. Like he likes the Little Jump Man logo. He loves his Jordan stuff, but it's like a style icon. It's not even for the basketball. He's like, oh, he played basketball? I mean,
we're approaching like almost 30 years since his rookie years. So I mean, like we're getting there.
So LeBron shouldn't start his own clothing brand
because he's going to become a clothing brand soon.
That way people remember him just as LeBron, the actor,
I mean, I don't know.
That's why I moved to LA.
LeBron, for some reason, just my observation, and I know Michael a little bit because Bulls, I was a junior guy. Not well. I don't have his cell phone number or anything like that, but I don't know LeBron at all.
Mm-hmm.
But Michael gets put in the Tom Brady category. The man can do no wrong. LeBron gets put in the more Russell Wilson or
he does
Aaron Rodgers category. He's not as well liked for whatever reason. I mean, I don't know what it is. I mean, political activism, who knows? But I mean, look, this weekend, Tom Brady released a quote spontaneous Instagram. Oh, I'm driving from home and I forgot my gear. Maybe I can go on the Nordstrom app and get Brady brand clothes. And some guy brings it out and pretends to be this whole stick. Obviously, it's choreographed. It's a commercial, right?
Right.
Very corny. Did you hear any blowback?
No.
If Russell Wilson did that,
Russell
never
Wilson
hear
would
the
get
end of
killed.
it.
Russell Wilson still gets killed for the 7 different
subway.
Let's Ride,
Yeah.
you know.
And the Subway commercial
Danger
too.
Witch,
Yeah, the Subway, yeah, right. Yeah, it's just he gets killed for
No,
it.
you're right. For him, it's the Brady brand. It's like it's branded.
But he
everything.
can yell at offensive linemen. He can break surf. He's just passionate and look, he deserves it. I guess he's a GOAT. But I'm just saying the difference is, and it's almost like Michael to LeBron. It's like everything Michael does, everyone loves, and it turns to gold. And LeBron struggles. He's still great, and he's still all this.
Remember one time, Michael, he was on the bench and he was talking to Malik Monk, and he's like the co-owner of the team, and he like slapped him on the face 2 times because he didn't do something right in the game. And he's sitting behind the bench. He's like not even part of the coaching staff. Just in my head, no one said anything to him. But you see anybody else like slap a player on the bench. It's like, I don't know. You're right though. There's the players in the getting category that you don't
and
say
I get
much.
it. Tom's built up the cachet, this,
Yeah.
that, the other, and we talked about going to a wedding and
Yeah.
I mean, imagine if Aaron Rodgers did that, went to a wedding and missed the team and went separately from the team.
You're crushing
whatever.
him.
I mean,
yeah, on
you're
top of
crushing
losing on that week too. That,
You're crushing him.
yeah,
I mean, poor Russell Wilson was on the flight and he got crushed for the high knees
yeah.
to London, you know.
Rightfully so.
Even a Ravens kicker making fun of him, you know. Day and age kickers are making fun of you now. Huh?
Kickers are people too.
I know, especially he's the best one, so
Yep.
that's okay. Yeah.
All right, Beast of the Week. We got something that Doc noticed in the office yesterday, the War Room. Shane Zylstra active for the first time with his brother, Brandon Zylstra, both activated off the Lions practice squad. Shane Zylstra, the tight end, caught a touchdown, his first career touchdown in 6 games, immediately handed the ball off to Frank Ragnow to spike it. And you just thought that was such a pro move. And I don't know how he pre-planned that. Did he expect to catch his first touchdown?
That was his only catch of the game. That
Yeah.
was planned. No other involvement. Yeah.
No, I think it was very spontaneous. I don't know
Yeah.
what sort of special relationship he has with Frank Ragnow. He caught it, and I think he was going to spike it, and he saw offensive lineman run into him, and he handed him the ball. It's not. I mean,
He's
first
like,
of
this
all,
isn't my touchdown. This is your guys. That's what he's saying.
yeah, and I thought that was kind of a beast spontaneous
It is,
move. I mean,
yeah.
the norm. You catch it and you hold on to it.
Yeah.
And the ball boy takes it from you and saves it for you. It's your
Right.
first NFL touchdown, and it goes in the trunk with a piece of tape, and you get it back after the game. You probably don't even spike it yourself,
Right.
but he handed it someone else to spike. I love if there's a beat reporter. Maybe I'll
That knows what's going
Dave
on.
Burkett say,
Yeah.
did he get that ball back? I mean, that would be my
I hope
question.
so.
I mean, did the ball boy go get that spiked ball and get it for him? Maybe. I mean, the equipment
Oh,
guy.
I always thought LT when he scored and gave it to the ref. I always thought that was a beast move. I think that's just so like
but-
nonchalant. Yeah. I know it's LT, yeah, but that's
You're like
that's a cool
150
way.
career
That's a cool way to do it, though. Just like, oh,
I
this is,
mean,
I do this every day, but he
mean,
doesn't, right? So
Shane Zylstra
he does not do this
no.
either every day.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, that's like you eating a hamburger for lunch. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, that's all you
no
eat.
need to celebrate.
It's a routine.
Yeah.
And for those you don't know, that's all he eats. He doesn't
Yes.
eat. He's only kid food, right?
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty routine for LT
Yeah.
to just
For
hand
real.
it to the referee.
No,
right?
absolutely.
But I thought that was a pretty beast move on his part. Now, what if he handed it to his brother?
Is
That'd been great. His brother wasn't on the field, but that would have been great.
Yeah.
His brother's on the other team.
That's what I was saying. He was. Yeah.
He probably
No,
would have
same team actually.
Was he the
They're
same
both,
team?
Both
They're
on the
same
Lions
team?
They're
practice
both on the
squad.
Lions. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then he could have.
Could have.
Because if he was on the other team, it would have been taunting.
You're like, well, don't do that one. Don't do the other one.
That would great. Runs over, just hands him the ball. Here you go, brother. The touchdowns for you. That would have been better.
Now, who's the older brother?
I don't know that.
That would be the ultimate taunting move. What position does his brother play?
Brandon is the older one.
Yeah, the wide receiver. So
Yeah.
wide receiver is Brandon, the older one. Tight end is Shane, the younger one.
Oh, so the younger one shows up the older one by giving him the ball.
Oh, that would be awesome.
that'd
Yeah, that's yeah.
No, they're on the same side. That'd be pretty good. The other one that I'd say is what we mentioned earlier. Robert Irsay on his Twitter announced the firing.
Yeah, Jim
Yeah.
Irsay. Yeah, the
Oh,
coach.
sorry, Robert. Jim
Yeah.
Irsay. I mean, I don't even think Jerry Jones would do that.
He's a
I
special
don't
guy.
think he
We
would.
talked earlier. We talked in preseason about his cold Zamboni and press conference on that. So yeah, and his free concert with his own band. So he's an interesting dude.
Yeah. He's like best friends with John Mellencamp. He's a weird one.
Yeah.
Apparently he's got the best guitar collection, like personal guitar collection ever. Something like that. I don't know. I'm making stuff up, but he
has,
does
like, a
have
lot
an
of memorabilia.
extensive
Yeah,
guitar
yeah.
collection in
I
Indianapolis.
guess he can
so-
do what he wants. I'm just always been a big fan of owners own, coaches coach, GMs evaluate talent and draft and build rosters.
Frank Reich might turn around and get another job soon. I don't think he's that bad of a coach.
Well, he has a choice. I mean, he got a contract extension, right? He's gonna get paid, so he could take some time off if he wants to.
Yeah. So Doc Rivers could have too, but he chose to dive back into the Sixers. So
I want him to leave. Yeah, sorry.
All right. Well, thanks for watching and following along, having some fun here. Midterms. What was the final record of our midterms? Did you count?
I did not count. I was looking at something. I would want to say that Zylstra scored 54 touchdowns in college. So he scored a lot in college. So
Minnesota State.
yes.
Yeah, but it's not college.
Yeah. It's
Maybe
not.
that was his move in college. Though. We'll have to research.
I mean, he was playing teams like Slippery Rock and Upper Iowa. So
Do
Oh, I'm
the
doing
grade
it.
real
Yeah,
quick
yeah,
and just say like Kittle's a loss because he's under the 50% mark, right?
okay.
So just go by the 50% mark in terms of the totals and run through the grades. And anyone who's under the 50% line, we'll call it a loss because we're at halfway. And anyone is over, we won't, like CMC will be a loss, although I think he's going to get the 800, right? Now that he's back with a team that's trying to win and do stuff. Using fingers and toes.
I am actually.
You gave him a pop quiz right in the middle.
I know.
8 and 5
8
totals
5.
and props together.
Okay. Yeah. But that's not counting the plus 240 and
No, not the free stuff. No. Yeah.
the other stuff. 8 and 5. Just okay.
Yep.
But
For futures, that's not bad.
yeah, it's just okay. I mean, yeah, it's better than 5 and 8.
Just want to win you money. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think some of those actually I think we're in a good spot in some of those too.
There's two that I counted as
Vikings
no
free
that
pick
could
doesn't
go
count.
over too. Yeah.
I think
Vikings win the division. Free pick.
Yeah.
plus
plus
240.
I
240
said the
is
free
good.
picks I didn't even add
Yeah.
in there. Yeah.
That doesn't add in there, but also I don't mind that Kittle and CMC even though they're behind.
Yeah.
And
That's
that
what I'm
would-
saying. There's at least 2 to 3 that are in the loss that could be.
the
over.
only one that's just horrible is the Giants.
Yeah.
The Eagles to win the NFC actually missed that, so I can make that 9 and 5. That's pretty
Oh,
close.
Yeah, there you go. Whatever.
I
Now,
don't know.
whatever.
Yeah.
We'd-
Yeah.
all good. Midterms only. That doesn't count. I mean, horseshoes and hand grenades.
No grades yet. Yeah.
Yeah, we got to get it to the end. Too
Yeah.
early. All right. Thanks for joining us. Pro Football Doc Podcast, Sports Injury Central, SICScore.com. Hopefully, you're enjoying some of the other content. I'm having fun with my twice a week with Rich Gannon and then the Jim Rome podcast. And,
Ross was just here.
Ross
Tucker,
Tucker's
yeah.
great. We'll go do more stuff with him. Having fun. I think you said, bring more guests in the office. I mean, sure, but it's a scheduling thing.
Yeah, no,
I
definitely.
mean, their schedule, our schedule.
Usually people are busy on football Sundays. So
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just a scheduling thing. But I do think it's fun to have in the office.
I think so.
Guys in the office.
You have a good
et cetera.
Rolodex, I think, of people you know. Even though you don't think you're famous, we think so. They make them uncomfortable on the spot.
Commanders play Monday, so
Yeah.
Norv might be free.
Oh, there you go. We'll have Norm come in on Sunday. No, they're probably just Rooney ruling me as an Asian guy.
Oh, there you go.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, whatever. I mean, honestly, I try not to bug people.
Yeah.
You know,
You do
and
seem like that. Yeah. You don't.
I mean, I don't know.
but
I
they-
try not to bug people. So maybe when I do ask about something, they're always been pretty nice. And let me
Yeah.
tell you, all the media people that I've met, they've been super nice. And
Mhm.
and if you go look at an Apple podcast on a list of guests, I would say
So the
we've
Rolodex
pretty
is
much
good.
had-
Yeah.
pretty much almost all the big guys. Anyways,
Mhm.
all right, we'll stop babbling and
Yes.
check out your fantasy. What do you guys call it?
Another football show.
Another fantasy football show.
There you
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
There you go. I hear people winning stuff by listening to that. So
Against
that's good.
us. Yeah.
Yeah. Doug's using it against us
Yeah.
at DFS.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He even tells us afterwards, like, by the way, your podcast's awesome. Want me money against you.
So you don't listen to your own advice?
We do. I just maybe not as much.
We got too much of our own advice. It's bounced around in the head too much, so it's hard to follow.
I see way too many numbers. Yeah.
So he takes this from you and this from him.
Yep,
and this from,
exactly.
And then
And we
What-
trip ourselves up because we think we're right about everything.
He uses it right. He has a tool belt, and we're one of them. So one of the pieces. So it's good.
all right. Midterms over. Thank you. Monday Night Football tonight. Saints are the healthier side. Then we'll roll into interesting game on Thursday and on to week 10. Thanks for watching and listening.